Shannon, what is going on here?
Well, I like what the Niners did, Skip. It tells me they're in position to get a quarterback, and they felt that where they were sitting at the 12th spot, they were not going to get a player that they wanted. But they also picked up a first and a third round in the process of doing this. So they got to feel good with where they are, Skip. Miami picked up a first and third. But the 49ers, it tells me Jimmy G is not in their long term. Now, Skip, he might be in their immediate future. He might even get a start this year. He might play some this year. But it tells me they're going up to get a quarterback. Now, everybody believes that Trevor Lawrence is going to be the first quarterback off the board. Everybody's oohing and ahhing about Zach Wilson pro day. But if you go back and look at it, I have not seen a quarterback in the last 20 years have a bad pro day except Teddy Bridgewater, and that's because he played his whole career with gloves, and all of a sudden he wanted to be without a glove. So other than that, every quarterback looks good. Hell, ain't nobody rushing you. You're throwing the guys that you know. They diagram exactly what you're going to be good at on that particular day. So I'm not surprised. But the 49ers going up tells me they want a quarterback. Miami, now, when they moved all the way back to 12, I was like, okay, they sitting pretty. But Skip, but when they come back up to 6, it tells me they have someone else in mind also that they believe. Is Jamar Chase what they're looking at? Is a Kyle Pitts, is that someone they're looking at? Is Penei Sewell, is that someone they're looking at? It tells me, Skip, they're still in prime position to get not a quarterback, but get a player of value. Skip, 12 is really kind of like 12, 15, and that's kind of like no man's land. Yeah, you can get good value. You know, you can find a great player in there. But normally, you know, you really want the guys that's in that top 10, and now they position themselves. They move up. They give up one of those first-round picks, but they still got a first and a third that they got from the San Francisco 49ers. I like Skip. I'm trying to read the tea leaves. I'm like, okay, they did this. Are they trying to build around Tua? Do they still feel they can get a quarterback at 6? Mac Jones? Is someone going to fall? Is somebody? So I'm trying to figure it out, but I can't. But I do know this. When they moved up from 12 to 6, it told me they still have an eye on someone that they potentially believe could be there, and they can go get it. So maybe it's one of those receivers. Now, I don't know if Kyle Pitts, that tight end, is going to be there. But, Skip, it's hard for me to believe that if Kyle Pitts is sitting on that board at 6, the Miami Dolphins pass him up. So I like what they've done, but I love what the 49ers did. They have an idea. One of those quarterbacks, Fields or Zach Wilson, will be there. And it seems to me, because they didn't move from, 12 to 2, it says, you know what? Yeah, we like Zach Wilson, but you know what? We'll take Fields. Yeah, we like Fields, but if he's not there, we'll take Wilson. I love what the 49ers did. I love what the Dolphins did. I don't know what the hell the Eagles are doing.
Okay, I'm going to start with your first statement, and then I'll go down the line.
Okay.
You love what the San Francisco 49ers did.
Yes, because they believe their quarterback is the missing link.
The harder I look at what the 49ers did, the less I like it. It boggles my mind. I don't see the plan. I don't get it. You realize they just mortgaged their whole future to go from 12, not to 2, but just to 3. Okay?
Right.
So they gave up. Obviously, they're going to swap the picks in the first round.
Right.
But then they gave up a first and a third in 2022 and a first in 2023 to move up 9 spots from 12 to 3. To get what? Because the problem is, if they had given all that to go to 2, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But they didn't. So they're going to be beholding to the Jets. They're going to have to take leftovers. They're going to have to wait and see what the Jets do at 2, unless they have such reconnaissance that they know what the Jets are going to do.
Well, here's the thing, Skip. We might have the same grade on those 2 players. So we're not upset if we get Fields or we get Zach Wilson. Because if we have the exact same grade, what are we missing out on?
Okay, but that's such a reach for me. And again, I'm on record. After Trevor Lawrence, I don't see a slam dunk. I don't see a guaranteed cinch franchise quarterback after that. I have my doubts about all the rest of them. And the more and harder I look at Mac Jones, the more I must admit he's growing on me, because I read all the second and third level stats, and they're just off the charts.
He's very polished.
He's very polished, but he had a track team of receivers. He had 2 more first-rounders this year, obviously. He had a first-round back catching passes and obviously running for him. And he had a thoroughbred offensive line ahead of him that's stocked with potential first-round picks.
Yes.
So I don't know how much to discount his year. But if you just look at the numbers, they are extraordinary. They're beyond Joe Burrow numbers from a year ago.
They were.
They're beyond Kyler numbers from 2 years ago.
They were.
And it's hard to say no to that because you say, well, he's not that athletic. But I watched him a lot. And when he needs to move, he moves okay.
Right.
He can hurt you enough to make you at least honor his ability to run a little bit.
Right.
Okay, so I immediately thought, is it possible that the head coach that you watched grow up in your locker room, Kyle Shanahan, obviously the son of your coach, Mike Shanahan, is it possible he fell so in love with Mac Jones that he said, I got to go get him? Well, if that gets out, if that's the signal sent, then the Jets are so they're so tied to public opinion that they sway with the wind in New York City with the back page headlines.
Yes.
That if all of a sudden the tabloids start screaming that, the 49ers have moved up to take Mac Jones, will that encourage the Jets then to say, well, maybe we should be thinking about Mac Jones, right?
Well, Skip, if your evaluators don't have it, you can't just take somebody because somebody else wants him. That might be a situation.
But it seems like the Jets always do what the public says they should do.
Well, that's what happens when you're in New York. Skip.
Okay, it
The
happens.
fans.
It happens. So I agree with you about Zach Wilson's pro day. Listen, I'll go back to, I'll go all the way back to Kyle, as I nicknamed him. Kyle, I should have been a bowler.
Right.
He sat on his knees at the 50-yard line and threw it between the uprights, and everybody said, oh, my God.
Right.
Here he is.
Right.
Here's the next savior of the Ravens.
Correct.
No, he was not.
No.
Then I go to Alex Smith's pro day. Standing ovation because not a single ball hit the ground, and he turned out to be okay. Just okay, but not a life changer, right? And then Sam Darnold, a guy you liked, it was in the rain at USC, his pro day. I'm pretty sure not a ball hit the ground, and I can't remember if he got an ovation, but they were raving about Sam Darnold's pro day.
And Jamarcus Russell threw it 82 yards.
He threw it 82 yards. It just doesn't matter. Johnny Manziel lit up his pro day. In fact,
with the former president,
Bush Sr. was there, right? And they cranked up the
music,
the rap music, and they were just killing it, right? Just killing it. And it mattered none, right? Okay, so we got that. So I'm still not sold on Zach Wilson, but I must admit I didn't watch enough, except I did watch the Coastal Carolina game. And I know they got sort of thrown into the fire in it, and it was a crazy COVID situation, and they had to go play there. And he did knock me over. I watched more of the highlights, and yeah, he's got a live arm, and he's much more athletic than Zach, than Mac Jones is. Okay, so now we're back to the 49ers. You gave up everything. You mortgaged your whole future for a pick that is dependent upon what the Jets do, and I just don't love that. That doesn't make sense to me.
Let me ask you a question.
So now here's what's about to happen. So if the Jets and 49ers do take a quarterback, well, that leaves the Falcons with either, let's say Mac Jones does go that high. That's the only reason you would go that high to get him, to me. Well, that would leave Fields and Trey Lance for Atlanta. And that would leave somebody maybe again for the Dolphins. So they could be saying, we'll take the leftover at 6. Somebody's going to be left at number 6 if, in fact, they want somebody, right? Well, would you really want the leftover of those first 4 quarterbacks? Would you really want to just wait and see what fell to you?
Well, the question is, Skip, is like what you do. Okay, you have a grade. You watch film. You watch this pro day, even though pro day should be the least of the concerns for you. I mean, what does the tape say, and what does your evaluators, the scouts, your personnel people, what's the grade they have? Skip, it might be a situation where it's Trevor Lawrence, and then everybody else has very similar grades. So you're not disappointed. If I get Trey Lance, I'm happy. If I get Zach Wilson, I'm happy. If I get Justin Fields, I'm happy. If I get Mac Jones. So, Skip, if the grades are very, very similar, and what I've done is that I've moved back, and I've accomplished, I got a first and a third for me moving back.
Okay.
I'm not disappointed. But I'm still going to get a great player because, like you said, at 4, sitting Atlanta, a lot of people believe Atlanta's going to take a quarterback. So now Miami's sitting there like, well, hey, we could take a tackle. We could take Kyle Pitts if he's there. We could take Chase. We could take Devontae Smith. Mm-hmm. We got our we sitting pretty.
What I believe Miami did was it cost them next year's first and this year's fourth to move up 6 spots from 12 back into the fray at 6.
Right.
If, in fact, they're going forward with Tua, which I believe, and I've told you from the start, that's a mistake.
Right.
You still love him. I don't.
Okay.
But if you're going forward with him, you better maximize his ability to survive and succeed.
Right.
And to do so, you better take whichever receiver you have ranked highest on your board who's left.
Right.
I just got to believe the Bengals will take Kyle Pitts. I've told you from the start, he's the best non-quarterback in the draft.
Okay.
So that would leave possibly Devontae Smith, who obviously Tua is close with and connected with a lot back in his Alabama day. Mm-hmm. So it would make the most sense to give him somebody he's comfortable with and who dominated college football the way I've never seen a receiver dominate college football.
But think about this, Skip. Miami moves back from 3 to 12 with 49ers, and they swap positions, and they get 2022 and 23 first rounder.
Yep.
They move, then Miami moves up, and all they had to do was give up 1 first rounder.
Okay, they're fine. They got they have Fort Knox of draft picks.
And that wasn't even their pick, Skip. That's the Houston Texans pick. They should say, Houston, you want your pick back?
Okay.
Give us the shot.
Okay, well, that would still be in play for them. So that leads us back to the team now at 12, Philadelphia.
Right.
Philly just said, okay, we're out.
We definitely rebuild.
We concede, we go backwards.
Yes.
That tells me that it's Jalen Hurts or bust for them, and I'm good with that.
Right.
I still believe in him more than you believed in him. But all I said was on draft day of a year ago, he can play quarterback better than Carson Wentz can play quarterback. He will perform better, and I think we saw early flashes of that for what had become a bad team when he took it over. So I'm happy for Jalen Hurts that they are going forward, and they'll just sit at 12 unless they want to move again.
Right.
But they'll sit at 12 and just say, we'll take best available and see how fast we can
Carson Wentz is sitting back and saying, well, hell, why the hell y'all put some pieces around me? Now, next year, the Eagles could have 3 first-round picks with playtime incentives because, remember, Skip, they got that first-round pick from Miami.
They did.
If Carson Wentz meets his incentives, they get their first-round pick of the Colts. Okay. So they're sitting good. But, Skip, man, look here. They're going to have to do a lot of building. They're going to have to do a remodeling for this offense to look presentable to people that's watching in the stands and for people watching at home. Because you say, okay, we're going forward with Jalen Hurts. With what? With what? You're trying to move Zach Ertz. Dallas Goedert has been nicked. That offensive line has gotten old and battered. Everybody's had surgery at some point in time.
It does not look good for Jalen Hurts, except for the fact that he now seems to be the man in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll still buy into that. That brings us back to San Francisco, and what is their strategy here? And again, it's possible they want somebody. They want Kyle Pitts. You know, I don't know what they're.
Not when they got George. Now they got Kittle.
Well, I'm just saying whether you want to strengthen your strength.
Right.
Okay, so the point is, what does that say for Jimmy G at this point? Do they need him as a bridge quarterback? They swear they're going to stand by him, and that and that and 2 cents will buy you a cup of coffee.
I ain't buying that. $3-4, Skip.
Okay.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.